It's flying wall-breathing fire, which you can do
Buah,
by
qué guapo.
combining his Q and W.
Buah, esto es guapísimo, ¿eh?
You've lost credit if you further than that before.
¡Oh! ¡Oh! ¡Hostia, qué guapo! Pues muy buenas chicos, bienvenidos a un nuevo vídeo, en este caso reaccionando a los campeones y cambios de la pretemporada 2023. Riot ha publicado este vídeo hace un par de días y se me había olvidado reaccionar. Sinceramente estoy que no paro con viajes. Ahora me voy a Ciudad de México, ya lo sabéis, el día 22 viajo para allá y el 26, 27 y 28 estaré en Gamergy, Ciudad de México. Así que si sois de allí, venid a verme, ¿vale? Que estaré todo el día por el evento haciéndome fotos y lo que necesitéis. Dicho esto, vamos a ver el vídeo y a reaccionar antes de irme, ¿vale? Que no me lo quería dejar pendiente.
I'm Ryan Reeve Morales,
Vale.
lead producer of gameplay on League. You might remember me from all those champion roadmaps, but today, for reasons I can't even fathom, they put me in front of a camera again to talk about all of League this time. So buckle up as I dive into some of the
Campeones en desarrollo, lo primero, vamos a ver qué nos
After
traen.
that, I'm going to pass the metaphorical mic over to Riot Froxon, who is going to talk to you about the recent durability update as well as our plans for preseason.
Venga, perfecto. Campeones en 2022. De momento están hablando de 2022.
So before we get into the new champions coming up this year, let's take a quick look back at the champions we've released in 2022 so far.
Vamos a ver. Zeri,
First we had the
fracaso.
speedy ADC Zeri. Then the girl boss.
Renata Glass, súper divertido.
After that, the Void Empress herself.
Velvet, completamente OP.
And then most recently, the joyful Nila.
Y Nila.
And just around the corner, we have the Udyr VGU, complete with a dad bod worthy of the Freljord.
Está mamadísimo el Udyr, la verdad. Bastante
Udyr's
guapo.
development has been a long journey.
Aquí nos muestran un poquito de
Especially since he's
gameplay.
been the first VGU that we've done that's had an ultimate skin.
Ya lo
We
hemos visto
appreciate you all
todos.
being patient with us on this one, and hopefully the wait has been worth it.
Actualización mediana. Vamos a ver.
So in addition to the new champions we've released this year, we've also been shipping a lot of Midscope updates to various champions, including Janna,
Vale.
Ahri, Swain, Talia, Olaf, and recently Sivir.
Vale, 6 mini reworks,
Because
por
we
decirlo de alguna
slowed down
manera.
the release of new champions, we've had a bit more time to ship smaller updates to champions on the roster that have fallen behind the pack. So the goal of Midscope Updates isn't to reimagine a champion's visuals, theme, or gameplay. That's reserved for VGUs.
Ok.
Instead, we want to freshen up champions that aren't living up to the expectations of the players who love them. We try to strengthen their fantasy even more, rather than reinvent it. So for Swain, we pushed his fantasy of an unkillable frontline mage to the max. And for Ahri,
La verdad es que el Swain
focus
está
on
divertido de
fantasy
jugar,
of a
¿eh?
mobile mage, rather than the assassin she had become. We
Vale.
saw really great responses to these projects, as well as healthy play rate spikes after their release. Given all of this, we want to keep pursuing Midscope updates, and we already have a few champions we're exploring,
A ver.
including Nico and Syndra.
Mini reward de Nico y Syndra anunciados, Nuevos campeones. Vamos a ver qué más nos ofrecen.
So now let's talk about some projects I've been super excited to share with you. So later this year, we have a new top lane
Nuevo
tank
tanque
hailing
en la
from
top lane.
Shurima, who I briefly mentioned in the last
De
champion.
Shurima, lo hemos comentado en
This new
vídeos
champion
anteriores.
will introduce a part of Shurima that we haven't explored yet. The city of Nezuma.
Vale, pues una nueva ciudad que no rinde pleitesía a
Now,
Cir,
Nezuma
¿no?
is an oasis city-state in the southern outskirts of the desert.
What?
And unlike the rest of Shurima, they don't bow to Azir.
Así es.
Situated on one of the only water sources for miles, the people of Nezuma had to compete
Son un poco
with giant
rebeldes, ¿no?
monsters just trying to stay hydrated. It was a hard
Esto es muy
struggle,
cringe,
but they eventually claimed the oasis as their own and built their society around it. Now, 500 years later, this new champion leads the warriors of Nezuma to hunt those same monsters, using the rare resources they gained to build their infrastructure. And
Vale, me gusta, me gusta.
he actually fought
Un león.
one of the largest monsters the desert has ever known, creating his unique Entofos out of its rare regenerating hide. Entofos are huge, blunt
Vale.
weapons that can be used defensively.
Qué feo, ¿no? El nombre,
But at any
Entofos.
moment, he can shatter them, revealing carefully crafted blades capable of tearing through any foe in seconds.
Vale, me gusta.
Soon after, the hide will regenerate back.
Tío,
to its
me
once
gustaría
state,
que me
so you
enseñaran
can,
el
like,
concepto, tío.
bludgeon
Es lo que
the
me pasa
crap
con
out of
estos
it.
vídeos.
It's honestly quite impressive to see. But you don't have to take my word for it.
Vale.
The entire city-state is basically permanently impressed by him.
Ok.
I mean, he's Kasanti, the pride of Nezuma. You don't get that title for
Kasanti.
nothing. So after Kasanti, we will be releasing the highly anticipated Aurelion
Vale,
Soul.
después del Casanti
To
este,
remind everybody, a
Aurelion
CGU,
Soul Rework.
or comprehensive gameplay update, is a new type of update we are testing out on Aurelion Soul.
Vale.
So the goal is
Bueno,
to
ya lo hicisteis
completely
con-
reimagine A-Soul's gameplay without changing his visuals or narrative at all. Since let's be honest, those aspects of Aurelion Soul are still amazing even by today's standards. But I know what you're thinking. Less talking, Mr. Reeve, more action.
Yeah.
And by action, we mean videos.
Justo.
Okay, fine. Twist my arm a little bit more, will you? Now keep in mind, the visuals are still a work in progress. One of the goals was to enhance his dragon theme. And what do dragons do? Well, they breathe fire.
Hostia, va a escupir fuego el
A-Soul's
Aurelion.
new Q allows him to breathe fire
Hostia,
for
qué
as
guapo,
long
tío.
as he has mana to do it.
Pero a un
But let's
objetivo
not
único.
forget the other thing dragons do, fly.
Vale.
His new W allows him to take
Pero
to
en
the
línea
skies.
recta o cómo?
But this time, he doesn't have to walk
Ah, no,
in a
no,
straight
no, no,
line
no.
for like ever. He can now fly with the push of a button.
O sea, tú pulsas
But
un
really,
botón y
let's
vuelas
be
por todo el mapa.
He's a dragon. And if there's one thing more iconic than either flying or breathing fire, it's flying while breathing fire. Which you can do
Buah,
by
qué guapo.
combining his Q and W.
Buah, esto es guapísimo, ¿eh?
We did it.
Vale, vale,
so
vale.
after Aurelion Soul, we have a champion I've been literally dying to talk to you about.
A ver, después del
One of the
Aurelion.
things the League community hounds me about constantly is wanting to see more Darkin champions.
Esto es verdad.
Darkin
Los
fans are like,
Darkins.
throw me a frickin' bone here. And believe you me, I'm right there with you, barking for some Darkin. Then one night, at around 2:34 a.m., I woke up in a fever sweat. And at that moment, it hit me. I'm on the champions team. If I want more Darkin, I can just talk to the team about it. And gosh dang it, I did just that. And the team was like, heck yeah, we want more Darkin as well. We love Darkin. So yeah, long story short, we're making a new Darkin assassin. So I know what you're gonna ask next.
Vale.
What's the weapon? Each Darkin is trapped in some super awesome weaponry. Please tell us what it is, we must know. And while I love watching you all squirm beneath my intricate yet vague champion roadmap teasers, I'm not gonna be that cruel today. The weapons are like the coolest part about Darkin.
Un poco largo el vídeo, mucho
So
texto.
this one was
La
actually
verdad.
trapped in a dagger, which is now a Darkin dagger, of course, because that's how that works.
Vale.
And here's what it looks like. Ooh, so edgy.
Guapísimo.
So
Esta es la imagen que hemos visto estos días en las redes, chicos. Súper guapa.
What? Got a hold of these daggers? Well, you'll just have to wait and find out.
Ok.
Another thing a lot of people have been asking to see progress on is the Ari update that we announced at season start.
La actualización de Ari.
Well, the ASU team has been hard at work and is ready to share some art, like the final composition. See
Vale.
here? The base version is close to complete, and the team is super excited to show you some of the progress on how she's looking in-game.
Perfecto.
Look at all those sweet polygons. And here's a sneak peek of her updated VFX.
Qué guapo.
Ari still has a ton of skins that also need to be updated. So she still needs a little more time in the Foxfire oven.
A mí
before we
Ari
can
ya
get
sabéis que
her
me
in
gusta
your
mucho
hands.
jugarla, ¿eh?
But you can expect to see her sometime early next year. So that's about it for champion news. Though I will leave you with one small thing.
A ver.
On top of wanting a new Darkin, we've seen a lot of players asking us to expand on Ixtal. We've also heard you asking for us to make a male enchanter.
Un hechicero
Well, I
masculino.
say, why not both? I'm happy to say we have right now, in very early development, a new male enchanter from Ixtal.
De Ixtal. Vale.
The new champion will show a very different side to Ixtal, far from the
O sea, a mí, voy a pasar un segundo, ¿vale? Porque tengo que aclarar. A mí estos vídeos creo que si durasen 5 minutos y fuera novedad, y se acaba el vídeo, creo que serían espectaculares, tío. Pero creo que le dan mucha bola, ¿sabes?
lavish palaces Kiana grew up in. So take a look at this art teaser that the team working on them put together. Oh my god, they're so adorable. Well, that's enough cuteness for now.
Vale.
So as promised, let's hear from Riot Foxon on the champion durability update and preseason.
Vale, vamos a ver. Experiencia de juego. Otro Rioter. A
Hey everyone,
este no le
I'm Matthew
conozco.
Harrison, aka Riot Froxon, lead game designer on the Summoner's Rift team. We work on things like balancing the game, in-game systems like the durability update and items, and preseason.
O sea, este es el del balance, ¿no? El
I've got a few
de
things
nerfear
to
a
cover
Kali.
today, so let's jump right into it.
Vale.
A few patches ago, we launched the Champion Durability Update. Our goal was to increase the durability and reduce the damage and healing of every champion in League.
Ok.
We've been closely monitoring the results, and after some targeted adjustments, we're really happy with where the update landed.
Muy bien.
A lot of you have mentioned how much you like the update, and that it feels good to have fights last longer with more chances for skill expression. And we're glad that it helped make League feel fresher. That said, we don't have plans to make changes of this size outside of preseason in the future, unless it's really necessary. What we don't want is for huge changes like this to disrupt League's competitive integrity, especially in the middle of the season.
Buena decisión, la verdad.
Speaking of which, let's talk about our plans for preseason.
Vamos a ver qué tienen preparado para pretemporada. Cuidado, Cuidado aquí. Cuidado aquí, chicos.
Similar to last year, we're making more targeted changes to various systems.
Vale.
Our multi-year goal is to bring everything in League up to modern standards before doing updates on the scale of Runes Reforged, Elemental Rift, or the item update again.
Ok.
So for this preseason, we're updating systems including communication and vision, making the jungle
Comunicación y
more exciting and
visión.
accessible,
Cambios en la
and
jungla.
bringing back a familiar foe.
Ok. Vamos a ver.
Our communication system is showing its age, especially in comparison to some of our other games. So we're giving it some much needed attention with new features.
Nuevas
that will make it
características
easier
de
to communicate with
comunicación,
your team
chicos.
and walk away with the win.
Esto es importante, pero también va a ser full
We're
meme.
expanding
Ahora
our
explico.
in-game ping system to allow for better communication with your team. The current system
Nuevo sistema de
only lets you
pingueos,
share very basic communications. And while we appreciate your ingenuity with the limited pings you have, we wanted to give you more opportunity for clearer communication. The updated pings will include everything you already know and love, plus expanded vision options and a call to engage.
Freeze, danger.
We're also thinking about ways to emphasize pings with teammates, plan macro strategy for objectives, and keep track of where pings are on the map, even if they're off your screen.
Es
In
que,
addition to
perdonad, pero yo, claro, como sé cómo es la gente del LoL, porque llevo 12 años jugando a este juego, sé perfectamente cómo van a usar esos pings, y esos pings van a ser usados de maneras full meme. O sea, creo que va a dar lugar a muchas historias divertidas, pero
the
bueno.
changes to communication, we're making some small improvements to the vision system, as it's a bit outdated. It's not super clear that you can swap vision trinkets, and it's definitely not clear how you can best utilize them. To that, we're exploring ways to make vision trinkets more intuitive.
Esto me parece súper bien,
You'll be able to see how many
Te
wards
dicen
you
el
have on the
píxel
map
exacto.
and preview where they'll go when placing them in walls.
Esto está muy bien, Esto está muy bien. Vale, mejoras a la jungla. Atentos, Atentos.
Another focus this year is the jungle. We know it's often a highly stressful role where you need heaps of knowledge to be baseline proficient. There's a lot riding on junglers, as they're often the backbone of the team's strategy, while sometimes getting unjustly flamed. So we're looking to
Me hace gracia porque dice, los junglas a veces reciben insultos injustificados. Es que los demás no, Los demás no reciben insultos. Creo que en tu juego todo el mundo en algún momento recibe insultos
make some
injustificados.
changes to make jungling more intuitive, and to help alleviate some of its more painful parts.
Venga, a ver, la
Our
solución.
first change is improving buff sharing. Donating buffs to your laners is an important part of being a jungler, but it feels bad to lose the gold, experience, and bonuses they provide.
Ok.
We're exploring a bunch of things to make this more painless to junglers, like buffs leaving behind a little friend that also has a buff, and a few other potential directions.
Vale.
We're
Me
also
gusta
looking at
esa
ways of
medida.
improving jungle camp patience rules. The goal of this change is to make it so you don't get overly punished by accidentally pulling camps too far. You shouldn't have to know exactly what pixel to stand on to do red buff and raptors at the same time without one resetting. So we're making changes that will make it less punishing when that happens. We know some junglers like to hyper-optimize their clears, and we want that knowledge to be rewarded. We'll still keep unique, optimal clears for different champions, like Kayn starting raptors and Shaco doing
Vale, me gusta
whatever it is he
también.
does. All this said, we're not trying to make mastering jungle easier.
No pretende que
but
sea
we
más
do wanna make
fácil.
it easier to start jungling.
Vale.
We still want you to be rewarded for taking the time to master your role and champions.
Ok. No sé, me parece complicado la verdad eso, pero bueno.
But it's still too early to share more, so we'll check back in later.
Ah, es verdad, volví a la dragona tecnoquímica. Eso es
The
cierto.
final preseason change we want to talk about today is the long-awaited return of everyone's favorite Drake, the Chemtech Drake. While we're bringing Chemtech Drake back from the dead, she won't bring you back from the dead anymore.
¿Ya no va a devolver campeones a la vida?
Instead, the new and improved Chemtech Soul grants more damage and damage reduction when you're low health.
Vale, me
And
gusta.
when the Chemtech Drake takes over the rift, the plants on the map mutate and become empowered.
Qué guapo,
For
tío.
example, Scry's Bloom will grant movement speed when moving towards revealed enemies, and Blast Cone will take you further than ever before,
Oh.
like from
¡Oh!
mid to mid lane.
Altas plays,
We
¿eh?
still have other plans for preseason, including the usual updates and tweaks to items and runes. And we'll share more information about our plans for these, and everything we discussed today as we get close to preseason.
Me gusta la dragona tecnoquímica, la verdad.
Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think about everything.
Vale,
we heard.
ya se va a acabar el vídeo,
I'll
¿no?
hand things
Vale,
back to
perfecto.
Wait. Uh-huh. Yeah? So I'm hearing that there is one last thing we forgot to show you.
¿Una cosa?
You all remember the skin line you voted for at the beginning of the year, right?
No me acuerdo
I
cuál
think
fue.
it was the Gothic skin line.
No puede ser.
Well, our skins team has been hard at work reimagining that skin line, and they really want to share a bit of it with you now. So it's time for me to say goodbye, bye, and time for all of you to see some sweet concept art for the new Fright Night skins.
¡Oh! ¡Qué guapo, tío! ¡Hostia, qué guapo! ¡Hostia, qué guapo, tío! ¡Qué guapo esas nuevas skins, tío! ¡Qué guapo! Bueno, en general, ¿qué me ha parecido de esto? Pues eso, me parece que es un vídeo de 4 o 5 minutos y lo han hecho en 15, pero igualmente las cosas que muestran son muy buenas. Creo que la dragona tecnoquímica le va a dar un aspecto a la grieta chula, me parece que está muy bien. Y aparte creo que la pasiva de más daño y más daño reducido cuando tienes poca vida me parece que es bastante acorde a las necesidades del juego. O sea, no creo que vaya a ser algo que esté completamente desbalanceado, ni que tengan que volver a quitarla nunca más, ¿vale? Creo que es algo bastante normalito, por decirlo de alguna manera. Y poco más, creo que me gusta todo lo que he visto. El sistema de comunicación nuevo me parece súper importante, pero yo sé perfectamente que los jugadores de League of Legends pues los van a usar para cosas más cómicas. Es como el ping de la interrogación, que nunca se usa para indicar que los enemigos han desaparecido, ¿no? Sino para ver qué cojones haces, ¿no? O cosas así. Así que nada, chicos, decidme qué opináis en los comentarios de todos estos cambios. Cualquier cosa, ya sabéis que estoy en Twitter como Manute Gaming, en Instagram como Manute Gaming, en TikTok como Manute Gaming y sobre todo en Twitch haciendo directos como Manute Gaming. Seguidme en todos lados si os apetece. Y poco más, os quiero mucho, espero que os haya gustado mucho. Un saludo y hasta el próximo vídeo.